Welcome to Lemoore City Council Chambers located at 429 C Street. This is our November 21st, 2023 meeting. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you. If you could please stand for the invocation by City Manager Nathan Olson, and if you can remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by a member of Cub Scout Pack 402.
Join me in a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our community, Lord. We thank you for the celebration of life for our retired Fire Chief Normie Garcia that took place this afternoon in the city. We just ask your guidance and prayers for that family as they go through the next several weeks dealing with this loss. Be with our first responders in our community as well. It's a great loss for everybody involved. Lord, we ask you to be present here tonight, that we have peaceful and respectful conversations, and that the will of the people be done. And ultimately, Lord, your will be done and all glory be given to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Marissa?
Councilmember Garza,
Here.
Councilmember Lyons,
Present.
Councilmember Orth,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gornick, and Mayor Matthews.
Here.
Thank you.
Agenda approval, additions, and or deletions. We have none. Moving on to, go ahead.
We are going to pull item 1-1 and just move that to the next council meeting.
So we're moving 1-1. So we'll go ahead and go to item 1-2, discussion and direction regarding option of privatization of the refuse division. Mr. Olson.
So good evening, Mayor and council members and public. Council asked me to bring back another conversation to be had around the privatization of refuse. So we're here to do that tonight. Okay, so the two things we're going to go over tonight is the RFP process and the financial impacts that this potential contract could have for the city. Okay, so typically in cities, we do what's called RFPs or RFQs, and you go out and you ask multiple people to come in and make a bid for services that may need to be rendered, particularly a lot of public works type contracts and things of that nature. I opted not to go out for a request for a proposal on the refuse. Couple of reasons. One, we're not required to under state law. Solid waste haulers can be chosen by other means other than going out to privatize. So that was one of the big reasons why I didn't. For me, it's all about efficiencies. And we're trying to bring in some dollars into our general fund. This is one lever we can pull to bring in substantial revenue into to the general fund where we are currently suffering. So to be expediently, I wanted to push this proposal through without going through the RFP process. I'll explain a couple more reasons why in the next few slides, but that's really what we're here for tonight. Kind of let the public know what my train of thought was and not going out to bid on this, and then seek council direction on what the next steps are so we can start moving forward. Okay. So since 2020, Mid-Valley Disposal, that's the company that I am presenting to council contract. They've submitted 5 RFPs for Senate Bill 1383 compliant solid waste services. And they have been awarded all 5 in the valley. So nobody's beaten them out since 2020. They actually had to go back out against themselves and got bid out with Selma and won the bid again in 23, or the incumbent hauler was Waste Management there. So I've talked to these cities. They're happy with their services. If we were to make a switch, we would get 3-can pickup commencing probably within the first 90 days of the contract being signed. That's something we currently don't offer in Lemoore. It would bring back mattress recycling. It would bring back oil recycling. It would bring back the recycling bins every week of the month, not just 1 week a month. So service wise, I would say we're going to have as good a service because we've always provided a good service. We're just going to have a little bit more options available to our residents. Also, included in the contract is 2 times a year residential pickups. They'll locate roll off strategically through town. So instead of having to get a coupon and drive to Hanford, you can do it here, and then they will transfer everything off to Waste Management. But again, this is one of the big drivers of not going to bid. 5 other cities have done it. They've spent the time, the effort, and the scoring. Mid-Valley has come out on top every time. Okay. So here's some of the other options to foregoing an RFP. Decision to forego a competitive procurement process is often made when the local agency has identified a worthy candidate with a proven track record. Mid-Valleys, they're kind of the main game in the valley. They've done well. They're well respected and well liked. Avoids the delay typically associated with a process. And this is 3 to 4 months. By the time you write the RFP, get it out, get it approved, you're probably looking more like 6 months is probably the fastest I've ever seen us create an RFP, get it turned, and award contracts. We avoid the expense of doing that, and then a delay in general fund revenue for the city of Lemoore. Okay.
What's the expense? You say avoid the expense. What would be the expense?
Would be, we typically have the attorneys draft up the RFPs on different things, or they at least have to go look at it. The expense isn't super huge. If you contract somebody out to do it, they can be upwards of 30 to 50 grand when you go out. We typically do 90% of it in-house and then just pay the engineers or whatever outside source we have, whether it be legal, to kind of look it over. So our expenses, it is minimal.
Okay, what is minimal? Like, I want a number.
Like 10,000.
Okay.
It's called 10,000 or less.
Could we just use this and just give it to them and all the haulers that want to do it and them just go off of this?
No.
Well, why can't we?
Which is that our draft? What is that
That's
their
the
draft contract?
Draft contract. Why can't
Well, that's
we
the
just give that
contract
to them?
because that's a draft contract with us. Once we go out to the RFP, you have to have scoring criteria.
Well, yeah.
And you got to add a bunch of different things in there. So yeah, you can't. I mean, you could do that on a non-official RFP and just go out and ask for random quotes, but there would be no scoring or criteria to grade that. It would be 100% subjective. Okay, so if we do nothing and just continue business as usual, the refuse fund, so that's our enterprise fund for trash. Beginning balance of this year was $2.5 million. We're expecting about $4.7 million in revenues this year and expenditures of about $5 million, which would leave an ending fund balance at $2.1 million. The general fund right now, our beginning fund balance this year was $8.5 million, revenues of 16.6, expenditures of 17.1 million, would leave our ending fund balance at about $8.1 million. If we,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
On that last slide where you had the Indian refuse balance, that is more negative than the beginning fund because instead of purchasing 1 truck, we were purchasing 2, correct?
Correct. And that's all capital expenditures in there too. You won't typically, we have budgeted for 1 truck a year, but with supply chain issues and not being able to get trucks, we're a little bit behind the ball. We do have 2 trucks on order that if this contract were to go through, we wouldn't pay for them. And they would be picked up by Mid-Valley. They would buy the trucks outright.
So just for clarification, the beginning fund balance, we should have purchased a truck with that money. That's why it's higher per se, because we didn't purchase a truck last year like we should have. And then
we've been purchasing 1 truck a year. Whether they come in on timely or not is how we ended up with 2 trucks this year, because it didn't come in the fiscal year. So then it automatically pushes that purchase and then another one.
Thank you.
But these are the the slide on the left would be if we continue the year and keep going at will, this is where we'll end up.
Yeah, but I think her question is the $2,530,000 and 319 should have been, if we would have got the truck last year, would have been roughly $400,000 less than that beginning balance.
Yes, if we would have paid for it, yes.
That was her.
Is that what you're?
Yeah,
That's her.
he pretty much, he answered it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Okay, next slide. Okay, originally, I was trying to, or had staff working towards potentially transitioning January 1. So if we were to transition as of January 1, Mid-Valley would do a one-time payment to the city of $2.5 million. That would be broken down by 1.7 million goes to the refuse fund for assets. And then $800,000 would be a franchise award fee to the general fund. So it would take the general fund up by 800,000. The other impacts it would have financially to the city would be about $330,000 for January through June in franchise fees that would be paid to the general fund. We would be compliant with SB 1383. And then the estimated fund balance with Mid-Valley would be 9.2 million. Yes, because next year we don't have the money budgeted. So that doesn't look right to me. I'll have to double check that ending fund balance. I thought it was on. I think there's a typo. I think that should have been 4 million. So it would be the difference in the ending balance plus what it would be. Can you go back to the previous slide? It'd be 2.1 plus 1.7 million, which would put you at 3.8, 3.9. Then the X, it was about 4 million bucks. I'm right on that. It'd be about 4 million in the reserves if we did that. General fund, if we went on April 1st, we would still get the $800,000 to the general fund. We get the 1.7 to the enterprise fund. And then we would capture about another $165,000 for April, May, and June. It's about $165,000 a quarter to the general fund. This would also allow time for a golden handshake, which is what we call early retirement, or if we work with PERS. Now, we do not have to tie any of those options to this contract. We were just trying to do it to help limit the impact to our employees. And that's kind of where we left it at. But we could run both concurrently or together, or just pick a start date. If we were to do a golden handshake, we won't have any of that data available for the council until after, I believe it's January 2nd is when we're supposed to have the actuarial study. That'll be done from CalPERS, and then we can begin to make the assessments that come to council to see if it's actually worth it. So that's kind of a separate topic, but it can be tied into this because we may have some people eligible in refuse that could take an early retirement and get an extra couple of years of service credits. And then the fund balance is just a little bit less. It's going to be 165,000 less than the general fund. So with that, I just need to know, are we going to bid? Are we not going to bid?
I have a couple questions. Are
Yes,
we
sir.
currently compliant with the SB 1383?
Yes, loosely. We have a couple reports we're still working on, but the heavy lifting hasn't started yet. There's work to be done for sure.
Can we go back a couple slides? First, I'm sorry. That one more. Go back. Yeah. The 330 says general fund impact 2024 January 1st. That one, that slide. 330 in recurring finance fee, franchise fee.
Yeah.
Is that part of the 665,000 annual, or is that the where's that?
So that would be, so basically we get 15% back on billing. So we're anticipating, we bill a little over 4 million a year. So that would be the fees we would get off billing for January through June would go to the general fund. It would reset again next fiscal year. And on the annual, we're expecting 660,000. So this is only a half year's worth of franchise fees instead of a whole year of 660. If we delay to April, it cuts it half to 165. So it's roughly about $55,000 a month is what we're not bringing in right now that we could be if we had an agreement.
Okay, that makes sense to that. Now, the 3-can weekly pickup beginning March, that's something we have to do anyways in that same time frame, correct?
Well, I believe there's some different, I know the plan was to pick up all the green cans downtown in the businesses every week. We had not implemented the third route for the residential yet.
But isn't that something that's coming?
I think with the way the law reads, because depending on how much overall trash we generate, there's different years for full implementation. So, but I'm not a 1383 expert, but there's some people in the crowd that might be able to answer that better than I can.
Do we have one? Do we employ a
No,
1383?
our 1383, we do in-house, mostly Randon Reeder as a management analyst. He's kind of been taking the horn on that and doing the reporting along with two of our refuse, our supervisor and our coordinator.
And I don't see him in here. So
I don't see Randon here tonight, no.
that would have been a good, because that's a good question.
Chris is here, but well, we got Chris here. Is it Nacho in the back? I thought I saw earlier. So they would be the.
Do we want to answer that question? Do we have to go the 3 cans anyways? Do we know when? Soon though? Yeah, so the 3-can has to be picked up anyways, so that's a good thing. I like that. Now, I had asked, if we do this, we have to keep the enterprise account open for 5 years to cover incidentals. We'll leave it at incidentals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. How much does it cost to run those incidentals annually
So
for the next 5 years?
the numbers from finance are roughly 400,000 to 500,000 a year for the first 5 years. And then it'll start to decline, but we think we're going to plateau at probably 200 to 250,000 a year in like years 7 or 8. I think there's enough money. There'll be enough money in the reserves that cover it up to like the first 8 or 9 years. And then we would have to start using part of that franchise fee to cover the ongoing costs. So we might say, hey, 10% of the franchise fee goes to the general fund, or it could all go to the general fund, but eventually the general fund would have to pay that 200 or 250,000, or we would just move money from the general fund out of these over into the refuse account.
So how long do we have to keep that enterprise account open?
Forever, because we always have
So it's
some
not a 5
interbilling.
year. We can
No,
close
but after the 5 years, we clear out a lot of the big animals, like the unfunded liabilities on PERS, the workers' comp claims and things like that. They're on 5-year cycles. So after 5 years, all that
goes away.
the expenses we've incurred, yeah, they'll kind of go away, but we'll still have utility billing and different flyers, and we still have to do 218 hearings. There's always going to be something left for the city to take care of on the down low.
From year 1 to year 5, it's about $500,000 a year.
Yes.
And then year 6 on, it's 250,000.
Yes, is our estimates.
Estimate, yeah.
Yep.
So basically, we are going to lose roughly 2.5 million over 5 years from the enterprise account. Over 5 years, we're going to spend $2.5 million from the enterprise account.
Mm-hmm.
And can we go back one more, Marissa, to the fund balance if we do this? And yeah, okay. So we have 2.159 million at the ending right now.
Mm-hmm.
The end of 5 years, we're not going to put nothing in that account because Mid Valley supposedly is going to, or whoever is going to take over. So we would we would be short of that account on year 5 of roughly $300,000, correct? Roughly.
No. No, it would be if you did 5, it'd be,
No, but you still have to pay.
yeah, your 5th year, you might start running those reserves down. But like I said, as we continue down this road, anytime we have more people coming on, new residences, that's more franchise fees coming in. So the 660 is the low end number. With roll-offs, probably looking closer to 700 a year, and then ongoing, we have more stuff, more things coming on. But there will be a time, yes, down the road that to make sure we can cover the refuse fund, we would probably have to use some of those franchise dollars to move a little bit over after
But
I think on my computer, and I don't have it with me, it was at the 7-year mark, I think, is when we have to start probably maybe helping out. It was year 7 or 8 when we actually do the math, and I could send that to you tomorrow.
so the franchise fee though is the 665 roughly. That goes in the general fund.
Every year.
What I guess I'm trying to explain, maybe I'm not doing it. In the refuge enterprise account, it has a ending fund balance of $2.159 million. Okay. That money has to stay in there forever. And it's gonna fund $500,000 a year is gonna have to be spent from that, because no money's going into that. No money's gonna be going into that, because if we have another hauler, that's all the savings account is in there.
Correct.
So that number, like you said, at 7 years, now we're going to have to start pulling roughly 250,000 out of general fund. So the 600 or 700,000 franchise, or the franchise fee, is now going to only be
550 maybe.
450 to 550. Well, we don't know if it's going to be
Potentially.
7. So it's going to be less. And then it could be a lot less. So, okay.
Shouldn't be a lot less. I mean, it should be real close to the 200 a year.
Yeah, but okay. We still run that account out of money though in 7 years.
Or sooner if we keep it, because out of that money comes any trucks we buy and stuff. So if we have a couple more years, or 1383 puts us into more expenses, then we'd have to go out and potentially do a rate increase to fund the 3 cans.
Well, we were talking about that anyways.
Mhm.
We're probably
Yeah, it
gonna
was like
have to do
60
that
grand.
regardless, even if
Yep.
whoever the hauler does it, we're gonna have to do that. Because we haven't done a rate increase on refuge since 18.
Yeah, I believe so.
18, so it's been 5 years.
5 years.
So it's probably due. So maybe not. I mean, I don't know, but now do we still have the oil collection, whatever it's called, tanks? Yeah, but we
They're in the
we
back.
still own the tanks, so right?
Yes.
Okay. So we could, okay. And now, whoever we use as a privatization, are they gonna use our tanks, or are they bringing their own tanks?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I haven't asked them if they were going to bring a tank or use ours. Ours is sitting there as a boat anchor, so.
Okay. Now, the mattress disposal program, doesn't someone have to be there to write in when they drop off mattresses and log?
I'm not familiar how the program's going to work.
Does anyone in the audience know? Does someone have to log the mattresses, or someone does? Okay. So is Mid Valley gonna do that? Have somebody out there?
I'm not familiar with how the program's going to be implemented at this point.
That'd be a good question, I think.
Yep.
I didn't realize that we had to log on who disposes of mattresses and stuff till the other day, so learned a lot. So
Did you have further questions?
no, not at this point.
Mr. Hornick?
Nathan, how about the electronics? I noticed that when we had that yard over here,
The e-waste,
e-waste.
that'll
yeah.
continue to be there. They'll pick those up on a weekly basis.
Okay, is it gonna be a container or just, you know,
I don't know if they'll bring in a container right now. Everybody just stacks it on the ground and we pick it up and load it in the trucks.
Okay. Was that in the original proposal we were talking about? Go ahead,
Yeah, e-waste was something that it always
Mhm.
stays. I mean,
And how about our staff? Anyone that's gonna be impacted by this? Have
up to
those,
12 people can be impacted by it. And whether they choose to stay with the city, and if they have bumping rates, go to another job within the city, they have that option. They have the option to move over and go to work for Mid Valley if they so choose. They have said they take all our employees at their, kind of equivalent job titles. And or they could quit or resign and go do something different. We have had one refuse employee drop retirement papers for December.
and the golden handshake thing, is that in place or where are we at with that?
So we started the actuarial study, and that won't be ready from CalPERS till January 2nd. Once we get that, that'll kind of let us know the impacts to the city and what the costs are going to be. And at that point, it becomes an assessment: is it really worth doing this or not? The benefit to the city is typically the people that are ready to retire are classic members of PERS. So it's more expensive to have a classic member than a Pepper employee on payroll. So the way these golden handshakes work, if we have 10 people leave out of one department, we have to leave one seat vacant, but we can go backfill 9 of those 10 positions. And the whole gist of cities doing this is you bring somebody in at the lower end of the pay scale. And so you basically overall save money in the long run. But that is something that came up in conversation after our last study session. It doesn't have to be tied to this anyway. And how it would work is once the city decides, if they decide to do a golden handshake, we have to open a 90 or a 60 or 90-day window that people have to retire. And so we could say that window is February, March, and April. And we could start this contract at the end of April. So if anybody wanted to retire from the city and then go work for Mid Valley, they would just have to quit during that 90-day window. Retire.
But that's a policy we would have for all of our employees.
All employees.
So
yeah.
we would develop
Yeah,
that policy.
Everybody.
But at the same time, it's like, unless that's in place, like until I can see that, I'm not really ready to kind of make a decision on this, because it's like make a decision on a maybe or a possibility, or like I don't know. That's how I feel anyway.
Well, yeah, that was just another option for employees. That is something we would be looking at with or without this contract. So that does not have really anything to do with if we privatize or not. That's always an option for the employees. The only thing we're trying to do is, if it looked like it may be beneficial to our employees, if the city chose to do the golden handshake, that we would try to time it should we move forward, so they had another option. Because what you get is you get 2 years of service credits.
Do you know how many employees currently would fall into that category, possibly?
I want to say it was like 14, give or take a few, would kind of be in that window.
How many directors or upper management would be in that?
Just Frank Rivera, Public Works Director.
So 14.
Yeah, and I think 5 or 6, I believe, is out of PD would be eligible. There's a couple in maintenance. So they're scattered about.
So 9 throughout the rest of the departments.
Yeah.
14 people. That's a lot to lose to the city. I think.
I have a question regarding if we privatize, are we planning to get out of the JPA, or are we planning to
So that would
continue
be,
with
we're in the JPA. So the way the JPA works, if you want to remove yourself from the JPA with King's Waste and Recycling, you have to drop papers before May of a calendar year. And then you have to stay in a whole other year after that. So it would take essentially
years.
2 years to get out of the JPA. And, but that's really, yeah, that's a conversation to be had. So far, there's only one person currently kind of with 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the JPA. And they have a private hauler as well, but, I don't know where that's sitting at, but.
I was asking just because one of the comments that was made at the study session was regarding taking our materials to areas outside of Kings County. So that's why I was asking that, if that was part of the plan is to get out of that, because currently we can't do that. We can't remove.
Right, so right now, we as a municipality have to take our refuse to waste management or to KWRA. Once it's there, they sort it and then they send it out and it either goes to Avenel to waste management there, or we send it over to, or sorry, Kettleman City, or we can go to Avenel. The JPA has a certain amount of required tonnage they have to send to the Avenel, or the King City dump. King City, geez Louise, Kettleman City, the Kettleman City dump. So now we monitor that and they send any loads above and beyond that. They do send over to Avenel because the tipping fee is significantly less per ton.
Sorry, I'm going through my notes.
Okay.
Another thing that was mentioned was our green waste, basically. That there's nowhere, that we don't have anywhere currently to take that. That's not true. We do have somewhere to take that through KWRA.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't process that through KWRA, then we're not going to meet our diversion requirements, which are part of us being, we can't meet them on our own. So we have to use them to meet that. It would be a violation of our JPA if we did it. So I just want to make sure that we are keeping up with what we've already set out to do in a joint powers agreement with our other local entities around us.
Currently, all trash would be going out to KWRA. We have to.
Right.
Yep, you're right. You're 100% correct.
It just didn't sound like that at the last informational meeting that we had. So that's why I wanted to clarify.
No, it's got to go there.
I know that you had said previously that you were looking into maybe splitting a position with Hanford for 1383 requirements. What happened with that? Did that not come
We
to
never did
fruition?
it. They went out and hired their own staff to do that.
And it was our position that is currently positions that are currently taking care of it seems sufficient.
I'm not in it enough daily. I do know there's a lot of heavy lifting. There's a lot of inspection requirements. There's a lot of, I mean, we started outfitting trucks with cameras so you can do like playback videos and kind of look through trash. So there's outreach to be, there's quite a bit of working to do to fully be implemented. And I think, and to keep it abreast, I think we'd have to go out and hire somebody. I mean, generally but all the other cities, they're hiring people to do this job.
We also, through King's Waste and Recycling, through the JPA, we also purchased Recyclist software to help with 1383 requirements. Mm-hmm. Is that something that if we privatize, we would no longer be using, or?
If we were to privatize, then Mid-Valley takes care of almost all the 1383 requirements. Now with the JPA, that was kind of to help with the JPA because they got to do the reporting because all our stuff's going into them. So there may be some kind of a hybrid that they work with Mid-Valley on, but I'd have to get with KWA to talk about that.
Any other questions from council?
Is there a cost to get out of the JPA?
Not a cost, but we have ongoing costs, which is part of this whole refuse fund that we've already accounted for. Like our old landfill, we have well sites out there that a couple times a year they got to inspect. There's a little bit of maintenance. It's not a lot of money though. It's probably that's just less than 1,000 a year, I think, on those. So I just don't, and then I think there's some ongoing commitments at the JPA. If you get out, I think you're on the hook for a year or two. I did request several years ago what it would look like if we got out of the JPA. Just as a way, instead of going after rates, I was wondering, hey, if we got out of the JPA, is there a way to like go to Avenel with trash and save money? And I couldn't get a straight answer out of Nicole at the time, what it would cost us ongoing. But I could ask the new director out there and get that information.
So would you say that cost is minimum or minimum, or, I mean, you
Yeah,
say $1,000, but
Yeah, it would be covered in what we've already discussed as ongoing,
under the
the
500,000?
5 years, and and the 200,
500,000?
250 going
Okay.
after that, yes.
Now, what about the software that were we part of that? We helped fund that, or
KWRA purchased it
And
on our
then-
behalf.
did we have to pay any money into that for that software?
Well, I mean, in our tipping fee.
In our tipping fees is on the,
They bought it as part of their annual budget.
Have you had any more conversations with our staff?
No, HR has. I know the guys have been in to speak with HR, but directly with me, I have not had anybody come talk to me.
Any idea how those conversations are going?
Well, I know we had one retire. We've had some people ask what their options are. So people are asking, kind of what their options are. It hasn't been hostile or anything like that.
one retired, or
We had one drop retirement papers, yes.
has anyone quit since this came out?
I think we had one quit. But their reason for quitting, I do not know.
No, I don't expect you to know that. But, okay.
Just a clarifying question. I was writing as I was. So if we privatize, whoever we privatize with would be handling all of our 1383 reporting.
Yes. I believe there is one report that we have to submit legally, because nobody can submit on your behalf, but that report would be part of the package presented to us to review, and then we would sign off and turn it in.
Any other questions from council? I guess what Nathan's looking for is direction on if we're going to bring back the contract, if council's consensus, now I'm having trouble saying that word, is to bring back the contract or to go out to an RFP.
I would think before we do anything, my suggestion is to definitely go out and get some competitive bids, and let's see. And I know it doesn't work, but this is something we started that we all found out about. I mean, we knew about it, that there was talks. We really found out about this a month ago, if that, however long ago this was, 2-3 weeks ago. I think, and in my best opinion, for 27,000 people, 14 employees, a department, I think it's best, if we're looking for the true benefit for the city of Lemoore, for it to go out to an RFP. And I know that I'm just some young man that doesn't know much, but I think if we use, not obviously this contract, but I think if we drafted something like this, send it out to the 5 or 6 companies that want to be involved, told them we need it back by February 15th. I mean, most of them, I think, are in this room, so they know what we're doing with. They know that we're going to do this, or possibly do this. I don't think none of them would have a problem with the February 15th deadline. I don't know. I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I believe, give them an opportunity. I know it's not going to be beneficial to Mid-Valley, but I'm sorry to Mid-Valley, but my city's more important than hurt feelings, in my opinion, because our we're in a financial, we see the problem with our money, and what's best for our city, in my opinion, is to send it out to RFP. Let's get a number. let's pick a group of people. Nathan, you spoke with 15 members of the city, put them on the grading committee, 5 of them, not 15, 5 of them. I would like 2 councils to sit on that. And so we can just get that number, come back and see what it comes down to. And and let the best company win. And and see if, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this. I'm just saying that I think it's fair for 27,000 people and 14 employees, 13, one quit, but anyways, 14 staff members, whatever, and 27,000 people to get the best out of a deal we're going to make. And if it's Mid-Valley, we'll talk about it. If it's not Mid-Valley, it's somebody else, we'll talk about it. And at that point, we can have an opportunity to figure out what's the best for our city. Would be my motion, or my asking of council to do.
Is there any other consensus on council for a request for? Actually, I should open it up to the public first, correct? Sorry, jumped the gun. Is there any public that would like to comment on this issue? Anyone at all?
Yes.
Good evening, council, city manager. Happy Thanksgiving week. Very nice opening prayer, Mr. Olson, at the beginning of the meeting. My name is Richard Caglia, representing the ownership group of Caglia Environmental, Cedar Avenue Recycling and Transfer Station, Industrial Waste and Salvage, and Electric Motor Shop based in the Central Valley. We've been doing business with farming organizations, large corporations, municipalities, small jurisdictions, and just small businesses for over 100 years in these combined industries that we've been involved in. I certainly appreciate the position that you're in tonight, or the mode that you're in the last several months, going through this process of deciding what you're going to do with your solid waste division and how you're going to treat your employees and your residents and your businesses going forward. I really appreciate the courage that you're taking to look into this. As an elected official myself in Fresno County on the State Center Community College Board, it doesn't take up a lot of my time. I really enjoy my family businesses that I've been involved with for many decades since I was a young boy, working with my grandfather, sweeping floors and cleaning toilets. But I appreciate the time that you're taking to at least deliberate this process, especially when it comes to the lives of your employees that work for the city. It's tough. I have some other team members here that represent the company as well that are going to come up and say a few words to you as well tonight. I've given you some information that you can be just a little more familiar with our company and some of the services that we provide, and the types of philanthropy we do, and the involvement we get in with our communities and the jurisdictions that we are involved in. I'd like to say that we're big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Mid-Valley Disposal has obviously grown very well. The Kalpikoff family, for sure. They have 20-something cities. I think you heard it at the study session in October. That's a lot. Like I said, we're big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. It's hard for an owner or representing ownership like myself to make it to, 27 Chamber of Commerce events a year, but I'll show up to yours. 100% I will. We understand that 1383 is a timely issue. I think anybody in this room that's in the hauling division could certainly handle that. We're doing it now. Mid-Valley's doing it now. Waste Management's doing it now. I believe, Jeff, you're probably doing it now as well. Earlier you had a question about mattresses. We have a buy mattress program that we partner with. Did I run out of time?
Yes,
Can I have 10 more seconds?
absolutely.
I appreciate your time tonight. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. And like I said, there's a few other of our team members that are going to be coming speaking as well.
Sir, I got a question for you before you go.
Okay.
How many customers do you guys service?
Tens of thousands.
Okay, how many cities?
We do not currently have a city. We service counties, we service school districts, we service water districts, but I do not currently have a city. So if I had you as my number one city, you'd be my number one priority.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to comment. My name is Dave Palmaville. I'm the Director of Environmental Health and Safety for Cagley Environmental. And it's for the last 30 years prior to joining Cagley Environmental, I spent in local government, working as a regulator in solid waste and other areas. My last few years were as the Director of Public Health in Fresno County. And I say that because I know and can appreciate the complexity as well as the implications of decisions like this. I know the Cagley companies very well, and I want to assure you that there are companies like ours that are eager to provide competitive bids for long-term and sustainable contracts that focusing on the needs of your community and addressing the challenges and the new and emerging regulations. Cagley Environmental is one of those companies. I choose to work for them because the company makes a commitment every day to their employees, to their customers, and to the communities that they work in. I can assure you that we will provide a positive, safe, and productive work environment for our employees that serve Lemoore. We operate state-of-the-industry facilities that provide long-term stability for our customers, and I believe your community would better served through a public bidding process that involves multiple qualified bidders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rob Emerson, and I'm the Director of Operations for the collection companies with the Cagley family. I had an opportunity to drive through your community and spend some time looking at all your equipment, your containers, and if you choose to prioritize your collection services, you'll want to make sure you get a fair purchase price for those assets. A bid process would allow the haulers to give you fair market value on any equipment included in the transition. With the price of trucks and containers today, this could be a large difference between dealing with one hauler and getting bids from several haulers. As you already know, in any process, it is best to have more than one option available to consider with different prices to allow you to make the best decision for the community and your constituents. The Cagley family team would like the opportunity to submit a proposal to the city should you choose to privatize your waste collection services. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Don't worry, I'm last. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Keith Hester, and I'm the General Manager for Cagley Environmental. And I brought with me this evening the informational sheet provided to you by Mid-Valley. And I've reviewed this very closely. And our company can do everything that's on this sheet, and I believe more. So I just want to make sure you're very clear that everything that's on here we can do, and I believe even more. And if you do decide to privatize your operations, I would strongly encourage the RFP process. And what's on this sheet, as was mentioned, may not be the best thing for your city. One point of clarification that was also on the presentation, Selma is not done yet. It's in dispute. So that is not necessarily a Mid-Valley city at this point. And finally, should you decide to privatize and issue an RFP, I would encourage you to move quickly in the process, both to enhance your fiscal situation as you have talked about it, but also to get into compliance fully with 1383. And as far as that $55,000 that was talked about that you would lose over this time period doing the RFP, that can be made up in a new long-term contract. You can get every bit of that money back. So that's really not even an issue. So I appreciate your time and consideration in having us here. And as Rich said, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Liz Gomez and I represent Waste Management. Didn't bring a flyer for you this evening, but you do know we are the owners and operators of the Kettleman City landfill. It offers, of course, services which include hazardous waste as well, and we offer full indemnification for all of our customers that we service there. And that would include your city as well. I just wanted to make a brief comments. All of the haulers here this evening are very capable and professional and, able to provide services for you as outlined. I know that, we would all bring something unique to the table. We would all have our specialty that we would highlight and would like to at least have the opportunity to share that with you. Something else is that Waste Management is the safest company on the road with the best compensation to its employees. We offer flexible and advanced technology in our vehicles to meet state regulations with a commitment to integrity. We would be honored to be considered should you decide to put your services out to bid. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other public comment?
Richard Giesbright, Lemoore citizen, city employee. Question, I work for the refuse department. With all this being done, something that is asked, if it does go to an RFP, will the employees get the same offer from all the companies that if it goes to an RFP? And what would the state of the employees be if that does? Thank you. You could, I mean, council could have me put something in there that makes specific requirements, but then we would be, I guess, negotiating on behalf of future employees. I mean, I don't know. There's no guarantee any other. I guess it's really up to the other companies, and I'm going to assume everybody needs drivers out there because we sure as heck can't find them. So I'm going to assume our employees are I'm going to assume this, and if I'm wrong, these gentlemen can pipe up, but I can't see them taking on a city without having the people to do it. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask the group.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. Joseph Kalpakoff, owner of Mid-Valley Disposal. I want to thank Nathan and his staff for putting this presentation together. There are plenty of reputable haulers in your room tonight. I can't argue that. They're strong competitors. They're good companies, good family companies. But the facts are this: there's been 5 RFPs issued in the last 3 years. We've been ranked #1 on all 5 and awarded the contracts on all 5. We competed with the same folks in this group, and we're successful because we have the most experience and we have the best price with that experience and the best services offered. To answer maybe a question about the last meeting, there was the green waste, I think, came up. We have the ability, if something were to happen at CRAW, to do both of them, both recycling and food waste. So I'm not saying that it doesn't have to go to CRAW. If something were to happen, we are the only company in this room with both a single stream recycling line. We actually process everything from Kings County today. And if something were to happen, we have a green waste, food waste facility fully permitted in Kermit. So I think that may maybe give you more detail on where that came from. We are a family company. We're the largest hauler in Kings County right now. Nathan's, one of his first questions to me is what's going to happen to the employees? And I said, we have experience transitioning municipal fleets into operations into our company culture. And we recently did it in Reedley. And so our services there, our track records there, certainly. And we have the ability to give the city of Lemoore everything they needed on a timely fashion. 1383 is fine, start January 1st. We have a program where we can take you January 1 into full compliancy. January 1. There's no waiting for a new contract, an RFP, a consultant for an RFP if that were to happen in months down the road. We could do it J1, ready to go. We can wait until February or March, whenever you would like to do it, but we have the ability to do it now. Secondly, we have a company culture here that will be in Lemoore. We're going to rent some of the spots in your bays for your mechanics to service our trucks, use your fuel lines. We're going to be here in Lemoore. And so with that, you have an option on the table. You can certainly go to RFP if that's what you want. But you have a winning option right now, which eliminates any doubt whether rates are going to come in at, where your employees are going to land, and whether that company can service the city of Lemoore as you service today and increase those levels of service moving forward. With that, I'd like to bring up Peter Engel, one of our supervisors.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Peter Rangel. I'm a Mid-Valley employee. I've been with Mid-Valley going on 3 years now. I was a supervisor with the city of Reedley for the Refuse Department for 15 years. So speaking on my behalf, the experience, it's there. It's there. Mid-Valley has taken care of myself and other drivers that came from Reedley. So they took us on, they hired us on, and every driver that I have at Mid-Valley, they are happy. I could say when I had a conversation with Nathan, I retired from PERS, and I'm still working with Mid-Valley. So it is possible. It is possible. And I encourage anybody that is close to retirement to do that. So that's any questions you can answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment?
Evening, Mayor, Council, Joe Heisdorf, Mid-Valley Disposal. Just a few points. I think Joe covered kind of really the nuts and bolts of what we're doing and what we're looking at for the city of Lemoore. I will point out, it's one thing to say what you're going to do, where you're going to be. We've said all through this whole process, just look at what we do and where we are. We are all around Lemoore. We have Armona, Home Garden, a majority of the county around. So we're here, we're around, we're already doing it. We're already here. So we've gone through all these competitive RFPs. Not a problem. They are timely. Everyone's different. Sometimes there are bumps in those RFPs. They don't always go smoothly. I think that's one big advantage where being in the position you're at, you have the benefit of seeing these past experiences and seeing a trend of what's going on as these cities, Lemoore, Reedley. One thing I'd point out is every city's unique. City of Reedley was a municipal operation, just like yourself. Selma currently has a private hauler. Some of the other, Gustine had a very small private hauler. We took over for them. They're all different, right? They're very different. We're experienced in all of them. We can handle it. We know exactly what we need to do, what needs to get done. As far as the KWRA questions, the way this agreement would read is everything would stay the same. Obviously, you have your obligations to that agency. But as Joe mentioned, you have options, right? Mid-Valley Disposal has options. We have our own processing. It's another safety net for you that I think, honestly, is a big reason why we've been successful in being able to implement 1383 in all these communities that we have. Only concern that we may have is some of our information has been put out there. Obviously, the RFP would get drafted specifically, but we've already kind of put our best foot forward and shown our hand, let's say, which is fine. We're perfectly comfortable in doing that because we're confident in what we do. But that would be our only concern, but it's up to the city. Ultimately, you guys have a tough decision to make. I will say that we treat all of our employees like family, and same way we welcomed Reedley drivers, we would do the same for Lemoore, be no different. We'd like to keep everything, big questions have been, will those drivers stay in Lemoore? Absolutely. That's the whole plan. And so you'll see a little bit of continuation, but also a big improvement on what we can offer and what we can bring. So that's what we would propose and look forward to your decision tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Council. Nacho Carrillo. I'm a resident and I'm the refugee superintendent right now.
I'm horrible at this, so excuse my dude. Anyway, I don't know if you guys know, but we can handle the 3-can system. I don't know if you guys have been informed. We can handle the 3-can system. I'm not a big time company like the rest of these people. I'm just 27,000 strong. If you guys lose control of this, there's no coming back. Right now, we can handle, we can control. Once you lose control, that's it. So just letting you guys know we can handle it. We got the trucks, we got the people. One guy quit on us because of this. He went to go to get a stable job. Other people are looking for jobs right now. So I don't know if we're gonna even have people to, every day's an adventure. But I'm just letting you guys know, I'm being upfront that we can do it, not a problem. I don't have Mid Valley on me. I don't have Caglia. I mean, obviously they're good places, but most of us live here. Most of us have been here. I've been here 31 years, 29 on the books and 2 part-time, so that doesn't count. So I gave you guys 2 years for free. You're welcome. But, but yeah, that's how long I've been here. So I didn't leave when I had the chance because I'm from Lemoore. I love what I do. I didn't grow up to say, hey, I want to be a garbage man. Nobody does that. But you know what? This is the best job in the world. I love it. I threw cans by hand when I first started at 19, 20 years old, and I hated it every day. 29 years later, I'm still here doing the same thing. I love this job. My drivers that are here, they love their jobs. It's dirty, it's ugly, it stinks. It's not the best thing to do in the rain or the heat, but we're here every day. We do our job and we give you guys 110% every day. At the worst day, we give you 100 at the worst day. So we're on our game. We're accountable. We're here to bust our butt off for the citizens of Lemoore and give you the best we can give. And we know a lot of people here in town. Everybody knows their driver. And when they got a backup driver, they know the backup driver. So, you know, whatever decision you guys make, I hope it's not the bad one, but all I could do is stand here and tell you that we can do what they can do. And we're smaller. It's just 13, 14 of us. We're small, but we can do it. And if we can't, we'll find a way. I know that. Been doing that for 30 years here. So there's always a way, there's a will. I just hope you guys choose the right path for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nacho,
Nacho.
couple of questions. Number one, thanks for your ability to stand up for your workers and for what you do for Lemoore.
Thank you.
Have you had a chance to talk to the HR people in the city?
As of like,
no, you haven't talked to anybody about it.
Not really.
Okay, all right, because you said you had 31 years, right?
Right.
Okay.
29 on the books and 2,
29.
like 29 official and 2 just, I was here for part-time when I first started, so those don't count. But I count them because I was here.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I just
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mayor, Council, my name is Renee Flores, and just like this other gentleman here, I started out with Really too, and the transition was scary moving to Mid Valley, but it turned out good. You know, I'm very happy. We got a new family now, and I still got my route. They kept me in Really, and then like he says, the garbage man. I was that. I'm him still, and they see me every day still. So it's a scary move, but it's to me as well worth it. That's all I have to say.
Sir, I got a question for you. What was your name again?
Renee Flores.
Renee?
Yes.
So working for Mid Valley, I mean, can you expand on that a little bit? Like you enjoy the job or you enjoy the company and everything?
I enjoy the job, the company, and just everything of it.
And the transition obviously was scary.
It was scary. It was scary. Not knowing what's going to happen. You know,
and so now, how long have you been with Mid Valley?
3 years.
And the more time you invest with Mid Valley, the better.
Yeah.
And when you're done with your route, is that the end of the day, or is it on to another route to help someone else pick slack or something like that?
Yeah, we take care of each other. You know, if the driver's down, and then we will help them. I will help them.
So then, what's your normal route?
My route is the front loader. I do the commercial.
Where?
In Reedley.
In Reedley.
Yeah.
And
when they took over Reedley, I was front loader there.
And so when you're done with your route, do you go to other towns and other cities or?
No, just drive back to
So
the
you
yard.
you stay predominantly in Reedley?
Yeah.
And you park your truck in Reedley?
No, well, the office is in Kingsburg. We're based out of Kingsburg.
Okay.
Yeah, so take it back and then go back home.
How far of a drive is that for you?
It's 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
How long were you, how long were you at Reedley? I'm sorry.
Going up 9 years.
You were at 9 years there?
Yeah.
Was that a PERS?
Huh?
That was a PERS city?
Yeah.
And that you had a PEPRA account or a classic?
PEP, I think.
It would have been PEPRA, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you retired though, or you?
No,
You didn't retire, you quit, and then you still have your PERS account?
Yeah.
Where you can go to it?
Yeah, it's still open.
Yeah.
Don't leave yet. Are you done?
No, I'm done. Yes, go ahead, John.
What was your biggest change that you had to do with from changing over?
Just adjusting to a new company.
Anybody there to make it better or easier? Did you have the support that you needed?
Yeah. And they helped me with everything that I needed. So. What I like most about it is that I kept my own route. With following the other drivers too. I won't say it.
Sorry.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yeah, I'll bring it back to council.
Mr. Cagley, I forgot your name, sir. What was your name? Richard, could I ask you one more question real quick? So one of our employees, they came up here and they asked, oh, if one of these other companies were to win the bid, would you extend the same courtesy to our employees as Waste Management did? Mid-Valley. I'm sorry, I said Waste Management.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Mid-Valley.
100%, perhaps even better.
I mean, it only makes sense to employ the people that currently do the job, right?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
That goes without question.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you asked.
Thank you, sir.
If I may.
Yeah.
One more thing. We have just as much facility and capability and capacity and third party as any other company in this room. So don't be led down the road thinking that there's only one company that can handle you, because some companies will try to lead you down the road believing they're the only ones that can take care of you. That is not the case, and I can assure you of that.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? So we had not really a motion, but an idea on the table to go out for an RFP, and it sounded like organize an ad hoc committee to help oversee it.
For the grading aspect of it, like I said, we had 15 people sit on a round table, maybe put 5 of them on there. And I don't know, I think the lawyer's gonna shoot me down on the council members, but you know, it could speed up the process is what I'm thinking. And I'm just a little old country boy trying to do something right here.
So just for council's clarification, if you do create an ad hoc committee and it has members of the public on it, it will be subject to Brown Act requirements. So any of their meetings would need to be noticed. It would have to be open to the public. So just for clarification on that.
Sounds good to me.
Good transparency though.
So that's what we have on the table. Is there consensus from council for that? Or does anybody have an alternative idea?
I don't want to be on any subcommittee or anything like that.
I don't think we can.
I'm the same way with Frank.
I don't think we can though, can we? Could we sit on that ad hoc committee and
So if you did
Rate
create an
Part of
ad
the
hoc
rate.
committee with 2 members of council and it had additional members from the public, like I said, you could do that, but then you would have to have a city clerk, you'd have to take minutes, you'd have to publish an agenda, you'd have to do all of the steps that you would normally do for any other standing committee.
So you're
or-
saying it'd be better for us not to be on that ad hoc committee?
well, I think if you did an ad hoc committee, you'd have to do it anyways, whether we're on it or not, right?
So an ad hoc committee would be comprised of at least 2 members of council.
Oh,
So maybe I threw the word ad hoc out there prematurely.
Yeah,
Is it-
I don't know necessarily if I want ad hoc. I wanted,
community
my
group.
suggestion was community to be part of the grading aspect of it.
Call for the question.
Huh? Oh.
To make a motion.
Yeah,
A second.
Well, you don't need to make a
No.
motion, you just need direction, so you'd need consensus.
What's
Is- which-
consensus?
So just a majority of the members.
so RFP, that's
Yeah.
the direction we're going. And the timeline, I'm whatever, I'm with RFP, but the timeline doesn't really matter to me.
February 1st or so.
Another thing I'd like to see along with the RFP is our city employees. I want to see something a little bit more clear than, yeah, I think, and the golden handshake. Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not, whatever. I want to know that our city employees are going to be taken care of better than, I don't know. I want better assurance than I've got right now.
So Councilmember Lyons and the rest of council, to put that into the RFP, then we won't even start drafting this RFP till probably sometime in February.
Yeah.
So it'll delay it.
We're
So
dealing with a separate issue.
it is a separate issue, but
I mean,
so, hey,
At the last study session that we had, that was a conversation I had with Marissa. I said, look, because the issue for me was what we're going to do with employees, the option. I said, do we have a golden handshake? She said, no, we don't have a golden handshake. I said, well, maybe we should look into that. Okay. It's just a tool in our toolbox that for these kinds of things or for other kind, we can extend that opportunity to employees. It's not intended to slow up this process.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I mean,
But Nathan said the golden handshake has been done in February.
yeah, I'm just saying
So-
it shouldn't be a part of the.
No, I agree. I don't think it should be part of the RFP.
No, I'm not trying to make it part of the RFP.
You just want information.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
want
I think we've already
information.
started that process.
Yeah, we have. That's gonna be done in January 2nd or whatever, 5th, whatever.
But-
This won't be done.
what we could do
What-
for employees is have that a scoring factor in the overall, what happens to the employees? And we would have to come up with paid benefits. I don't know how we'd quantify who's better than the other,
Yeah, I don't,
but that would be one way you could put the employees, write them into the RFP.
I guess my hang up is saying it's not gonna be done till February. Why couldn't we do an RFP sooner?
Well, I was, when Councilmember Lyons made that request, I thought he was referring to, he wanted to know what's gonna happen to the employees as part of the RFP. And
Okay,
unless we know if we're doing a golden handshake or anything, that
No.
just, it delays everything.
I think like Frank had said, that's two different, not mine. My RFP, start it soon, let's get it going. So, I mean, you good, Johnny, or what do you think?
I just, I guess clarification. So a city employee came up, Nacho, said that they can do it. So what is the option there? Are we thinking privatizing or are we thinking keeping?
I'm not thinking privatization. I just want to look at the benefit for the city
Okay.
and just look at it. It costs us very little to see if this is something we need to dot all the i's, cross all the t's, whether we're going to do it. I'm not saying we need to do it. I'm just saying we need to
Go through the process.
not jump off of one bridge, just get all the bridges together and do all the parachutes and jump off.
And the best impact for our.
The
budget.
best impact, I think, would be getting multiple people to bid for it and look at it. You agree?
Right. I agree.
Frank, do you agree or?
No, I don't. We didn't get ourselves into this process. And I think we've moved forward with the process. We got information and we should move forward with what we've got right now.
What do you think?
Councilmember Lyons?
RFP, huh?
So looks like you have consensus to go out for an RFP.
Okay, thank you.
That was with 4-1. Let's see, no ceremonial presentation, department and city manager reports.
Okay, first up tonight will be Mr. Ray Greenlee.
Need to do that.
Hopefully, be a little lighter. I just wanted to come up and discuss our annual Jingle and Mingle. That's going to be happening this Sunday.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring up our annual Jingle and Mingle event that we have coming up this Sunday. And I believe, Marissa, you gave everybody
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so basically it has the breakdown of what we're doing, when we're doing it. We're asking that council members be there at 5 o'clock so we can do our ceremony, flipping of the switch at 5:30, stuff like that. So, any questions on that? We'll be out there Sunday setting up probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, start getting the vendors and all that good stuff. I think we have 20, last count, I think we had like 22 vendors or 24 vendors, somewhere around there. That'll be out there.
So it's my understanding we have a few less vendors than we had last year, yeah? Just
Well,
a
at last
couple.
count, we were close. We were real close.
I'm surprised because man, last year's was such a
No, it was. I think what happened is a couple of them who didn't really sell anything didn't come in. That's
gotcha.
all. But we've got different vendors coming in this time. So we'll have a lot of food. We'll have, some area sections set up. We'll have the ponies. We'll have the petting zoo, and the camel should still be out or coming out also. So it'd be
What?
cool. The camel.
Camel.
Oh,
We had the camel last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a good time. We're gonna have bounce houses. We're gonna do cookie decorations over there by the Betts Hall. Ceremony is gonna have their part where they do the hay rides and all that stuff. Of course, the fire department setting up the tree, doing all that. So
when you guys gonna start that tree? Picking up, put it in the hole
noon.
noon?
yeah, that's
It takes
approximate.
every bit of 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, I watched it last year. It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
amazing.
It quit last year, actually.
It's an organized chaos.
Oh, yeah, but it was awesome watching.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
And yet you do it every year.
Every
Yep.
year for
Yeah.
23
Right.
If you
years.
hang up for it, you
Yep.
sign up for it.
Right. Any questions on recreation side on that? On the building side, very quickly, Helena came in and paid for the permits, and they plan on breaking ground sometime in December. So we're gonna get started on that. I want to thank City Manager Olson for working with them and getting them going, and he was a great help, and we did everything we could on our end to push it. And so they do have one more building that's going through plan check, but they're ready to go. So I asked Frank about the civil. I think they're still working on their civil plans a little bit, which is their underground stuff, but they're ready to go. So I just want to give you an update there.
How many buildings are they gonna put out there?
Well, currently they have 4 structures going out there right now. So they're going to have an office, they're going to have a big warehouse, they're going to have a fire pump station, and then tanks. And then they're working on another building. So that building, like I said, that's the one that's going through plan check. So that's what I know of right now on that. Panda, just to give you an update, we went and they got their switch gear in about 3 weeks ago. We went out and we did an inspection. We released PG&E. They're on a schedule for PG&E to come out and do boring and remove that transformer and then start getting power to them. But the last time I spoke to them 3 weeks ago, they were still anticipating their opening date to be January. So that's kind of progress there.
Helena's a chemical factory, right?
Correct. Fertilizer. Yes. The
Yeah.
one they're moving from Hanford.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Olson. And they're coming here.
Have we had any discussions with the railroad in terms of a crossing there?
So they're putting in a whole new leg for one, so they're expanding the rail for the so they can load and unload their trucks. But but I don't know what they've discussed with them for the amount of
Have we engaged the railroad in having a northwest, north-south crossing?
No, we have not.
Somewhere
No,
there.
the city, no, that's,
Oh,
that
no.
falls on them. They're gonna put a spur in, so.
For us to add a crossover, we have to get rid of 3. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. So if we,
Yeah, but we've just added, we've got liquid nitrogen with the food plant, and we've got fertilizer over here, and we only have one access into that side.
Mhm.
What does the fire department have to say about that?
No,
No,
1 or 2?
I thought it was 2.
There's 2. There's one from like day and night market side, and then there's one coming from Hanford Motor Road.
not back there. There's
Well,
there's only one way to get back.
well, there's one road in, yes,
There's
production
only
way.
one road in. There's no other north-south.
You can't come from Hanford Motor Road in?
He can, but I think what Mr. Gornick's referring to is once you're at the site on production place, you only can come off of Bellflower down production.
Okay.
You can't come in from the south and cross over the tracks.
Oh,
In
okay.
an emergency, theoretically you could. It'd be the dirt roads on 21st and there's a little crossover there, but
And we're looking at buying a truck that can get back there. Maybe if we prove it.
But it's something I think you guys should just inquire, talk to fire and whatever, but I think as a precaution, we got a lot of development going in over there, a lot of residential.
Are they gonna have anhydrous ammonia out there?
no.
Yep.
No.
No, most everything that they told us,
Dry
the
mix.
product is just regular stuff
So
that
it's
you can
just
buy
dry.
at Lowe's. It's all dry mix and they bag it. They sell it retail. It's not,
And they won't have any liquid fertilizer at all?
no,
Not yet.
no.
Not that they're talking about. No, it's all dry.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit safer.
Mm-hmm.
Not safer. So what would you were thinking, Frank, to go from
Just
them
access
south?
well, north and south, off of, I don't know what that road is that goes all the way down.
Hanford Motor Road?
No.
No, he's talking about
It's right next to the
college.
Prino plant. It goes, the plant that gives you access on the north side of the railroad tracks. It's a dirt road right now.
Oh, okay. But it would go towards Hanford Motor Road?
No, it would go due west. And you'd have a break somewhere
Oh,
along College Avenue there or further east or west. You go north and south to get access there.
oh, you're talking about the main road that goes into Leprino, goes back to that road that runs east-west.
Right.
You would need that to go west more to the end of where the college, that corner, and then come up. Oh, okay.
Or somewhere there. I don't know.
Yeah, the college is county, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
So if we ran that
And
road,
anything north of production way, halfway across the road is all county as well. Basically everything north of the Loprino plant is county, even Bellhaven out to Hanford Ramona Road. I have asked prior to the county to maybe widen Bellhaven out to 4 lanes all the way to Hanford Ramona Road for the truck route. Because we are going to limit trucks for an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon when school's getting out here in the near future. So we'll be sending more trucks down to Hanford Ramona Road instead of coming through the corner right there.
Well, can't we signage there and just tell all those trucks to go to the Hanford Road?
Yeah, we're going to.
Well, I mean, not just during
school
morning. I mean, just.
Well, we could, but Hanford Ramona Road, it's not a nice road. I mean, they get
well, but when they put the light in there, I mean, they extended that left-hand turn lane to accommodate trucks. Yeah. I mean, it's a big, long left-hand turn. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And then just another quickly is just where Lennar's going full bore and GG Gardner is getting ready. I think they're close to having all their houses under construction. So they're doing well up there too. And we're doing 30+ inspections a day.
30?
Yes, we're staying we're extremely busy. Yeah.
Speaking of inspections, is there a on the new home construction, installation of solar panels? I've noticed a difference in some of the installations. Some of the installations are all the panels are on the outside of the house as opposed to the inside in the garage and through the roof.
Panels, you mean as far as like the switch gear?
The switching gear and everything is on the outside of the house as opposed to on the inside and connecting through the roof. They run the conduit along the roof.
There's some that are with the battery backups, they'll run those in the garage if they choose, but then they also have to have clearance and possibly bollards, and that's in the 22 code now. But we're still, most everything we're building right now is still 19 code. So we're not in the 22 code.
What does that mean?
The difference being is that for 22, you have to pre-wire for battery, and you have to pre-wire
Right.
line going into the master bedroom and also to refrigerator.
But we're still allowing to put all that stuff on the outside of the house.
Yeah, you can go either way. You can either go from the roof down and go through the wall, which new construction typically will do, or you could still go on the outside. There's no restrictions either way. You can, it's whatever, whoever designs it the way they want to install it.
I think what you're saying, Frank, is like in my neighborhood, all of our original solar went in the walls. Everything was in the walls. And what happens is some of these companies don't put enough panels, don't give you an option to put enough panels to use your usage. So what they're doing, a lot of them in my neighborhood, is they're adding a second set of panels, and then they are doing the cheaper route by having all the conduit over the roofs, down the walls, and
Yeah, but this is all 3-year-old construction, so this is brand new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the brand new stuff, everything's
It's on the wall.
built into the walls. They're penetrating the roof and going straight down.
Yeah, but my point is, on the same block, you'll have 3 houses or 4 houses. 2 of them, you don't even know they're solar unless you look at the roof. Everything's on the inside of the garage.
Right.
The other 2, everything's on the outside.
Right.
And not on the inside.
Right.
And
it's by design.
What the inspection was, that was. You're saying we leave it up to the installer?
The installer will draw the plans, we'll review them, and yes, there's nothing restricts you from doing either way. It's just typically they'll go when they're doing.
We can't tell them to put them on the inside?
No.
If they're pre-constructed for that?
No.
Sure looks junky.
Yeah, no, it's.
But north of the Gulf or south of the Gulf.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're referring to the actual gear or the batteries.
No, it's not battery. I mean,
not the batteries.
The point is, I mean, if you had kids horsing around in the neighborhood with a basketball, or somebody comes and pulls I mean, it's just all exposed there. Where in the past,
your electrical panel is exposed. All that's exposed. I mean, that's really no different. I mean, they would have to.
And you have to have a kill switch on the outside.
There's several.
For your solar.
There's several.
So if there's a fire,
correct.
He can go over there and kill the power.
Correct, and they all have to be labeled. It goes through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
There's a lot of labeling and all that. But
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna urge back to public comment. My apologies, I got a little out of order. So public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the city council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens the item to the public. Is there anybody that has any public comment?
Hello, Council, Mayor Olson, Rivera. My name's David Hernandez. Been a resident for 25 years. I live on the corner of Bush and 18th. I've had a long-going issue with the road on that section right there. I've been dealing with Olson, Rivera for over 10 years on this issue with no resolve. I'm a taxpayer and I'm getting no representation from my city, my council, mayor, especially Olson and Rivera. They've broken promises to me. They've broken appointments. I have it documented of when I went over there and seen them. Now it's time for me to address the council and the mayor. Okay, I live on that corner. I've lived there for 26 years. Within the past 10 years, I've had issues with big rigs coming through. The road's uneven. Every time a big rig comes through, hits the manhole on the northbound lane, my house shakes. I have substantial damage to my house now. I had PG&E go out and tighten up that manhole. Still having a problem with that manhole. They're throwing the issue on the city. They're saying it's the city's problem. You guys need to take care of it. The city's telling me that PG&E needs to take care of it. I'm stuck in limbo with no recourse. Now I'm coming to the city. I need help. Okay, I don't know what to do. All I've ran across is broken promises. This is the issue that I need addressed.
So the northbound lane.
Northbound lane, there's a man cover. PG&E put a man cover there. And when I talk to different people, that man cover is a pedestrian cover. It's not even a road cover. Okay. Before, that man cover was off on the sidewalk. PG&E moved it in the street about 15 years ago from the neighbors that I've talked to. I'm not the only one running across this issue.
Is it a square?
It's a big square.
Big square piece
of
of metal.
square.
The
And
vault.
the big vault. And in the past, the southbound lanes, the street was uneven. There was a hump. They came out, resurfaced it, took an act of Congress. Okay. They resurfaced the road, but you can go out there and the road's still tore up now. The amount of big rigs that go up and down 18 is ridiculous. I'm recently getting over COVID. I was laying in bed. I grew up in the Bay Area. Every time a big rig comes through, my house shakes like I'm getting hit with a 2.5 to a 3.0 earthquake. I couldn't get any rest. It's just gnawing at me every night. I get no rest. That man cover clanks and my house shakes. I'm finally at the point where I'm addressing you guys and I need a resolution to this matter. I've got told that the water table by Olson is too high over there. They can't do anything about the road. He told me that PG&E is a superpower and they can't deal with them. Have we gotten to this day and time where we're letting corporations dictate what we do in our city and we're not holding them accountable for their actions and their work, their shoddy work that they're doing? I'm a taxpayer. I need something done here. And I've addressed certain issues, certain council on this board, and I've tried to talk and deal with everything on the lowest possible level. It's not working. So that's why I'm here today addressing you guys. You know.
Thank you, sir. Your time has
All right.
expired, but we have all heard what you've said. We can't really address it during public comment, just so that you know. But
is there something? What's the process? Can we address this later? Can we put it up on docket as far to deal with it?
So you have already reached out to Nathan and Frank Rivera. You could reach out to any or all of us individually if you like.
Just reach out to me. I got an email from him.
I had to research and find out who was in charge of District C. I didn't even know I was in District C.
Gotcha.
But now it's people within the community that are forcing my hand. Now I have to go out and seek information and figure out which direction I need to go next.
What was it, 10th and what?
It's 18th and Bush.
Okay,
18th. Caddy corner from Lemoore High.
And I have extensive damage to my house. I got cracks in my ceiling, my game room. I got cracks. The outside stucco, I have cracks. Okay. My house just got redone. I had back in 2012, I had a vehicle run into my house. The house had redone. I had it painted. Everything was fine. You can see all the new cracks within my home.
Can you leave your contact information with the city clerk?
With over here?
Yes.
I will.
Thank you.
And that's the work order that was done yesterday. And that's what they told me as far as my reports. Pretty much they're putting it on you guys and vice versa.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does he want that back?
Yes.
Is there any other public comment?
Give me public comment.
Okay. Seeing none. Is there any other city manager or department reports?
Yes, I got it.
After I close the public comment right now.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, want to catch you up on reason for the season. So shopping day 1 is Saturday, December 2nd at 6 a.m. at the Hanford Walmart. Shopping day number 2 is Saturday, December 9th at 6 a.m. at the Walmart. Gift wrapping will take place on Tuesday, December 12th, 9 a.m. at the police department. And then reason for the season is Friday, December 15th, 2023, 1 p.m. at the police department. And then Presence on Patrol is Wednesday, December 20th at 1 p.m. We will be loading vehicles at the PD and then heading out from there.
What did you say the gift wrapping was? I'm
The
sorry.
gift wrapping is December 12th at 9 a.m. at the PD. And they usually have a potluck too, I think, don't they? Captain and Joe? Okay. But anyway, it's a good time if you want to go down and wrap.
Do they teach people how to wrap?
Presents?
Yeah.
You know what, Dave? Just think about us, but
Like,
Some
I don't know
people
how
take longer than others, and that's okay.
that's good. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to consent calendar, item 4-1, approval minutes, regular meeting, November 7th, 2023. Item 4-2, approval acceptance of 2024 Ferrara Type 6 Quick Attack Truck order and drawings. Is there a member of council that would like to pull any of those items? Seeing none, is there a member of the public that would like to pull any of those items?
Actually, I like to pull 4-2. Sorry.
Of course you would.
A little
No,
bit
I'm kidding.
faster than I thought.
Nobody from the public. So is there a motion to approve consent
motion.
calendar 4-1?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Garza and a second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Orth,
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. 4-2. What is your,
What does it? I didn't see on the paperwork. Do we have a delivery date? Have they ordered it yet? Do you know, Stu?
So no, if this gets approved, we'll put it on order. And that was part of the some of the changes. The frame that originally was either a Dodge or a Ford frame, those aren't available for like 10 or 11 months. So we changed the frame to get it in a little sooner, but delivery on this truck is going to be 300+ days.
Change the frame to what? Do you have any idea?
Well, they went from like a Dodge frame to a Ford frame.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Whatever the supply chain had, they switched it from one to the other, and it was more expensive for the
different frame.
the available frame.
Yes. Of course.
And then there's a couple things. Fire goes back and they look at the trucks every year, and so they went back and they added some items for different cabinets and things of that for the workability of the truck.
4-wheel drive, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
No more 2-wheel drive.
That's all. I just wanted to.
any other questions
And
from
this
council?
and this is being paid for out of the grant dollars that we received from Hurtado's office.
Yeah.
See no further questions from council. I'll open it to public. Is there public comment on this item? Seeing none, bring it back to council for
Motion to approve 4-2.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Orth and a second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Orth,
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. No public hearing, no new business. On to city council reports and requests. Councilmember Garza.
Okay, first, I just want to comment that clock needs to be changed. I thought it was 8 o'clock. Right?
I agree.
No, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving also. And, thank you guys for everything.
Councilmember Lyons. So
I don't even know how to say this, but today's been a long emotional day for me. I just want to extend to the Garcia family. I'm sorry for their loss and that I love them. And that's it. I'm done.
thank you, sir. Councilmember Orth.
Well, I too want to extend my condolences to the Garcia family and to the whole fire department, because it's probably been a very long and trying and emotional day. So I'm just really glad you guys did that. You guys, that's awesome. Going back to I would also like all the firefighters, if they're going to go up this weekend, to go cut down this big old tree that goes on our thing. Please be safe. Please
Might
be
be
safe.
asking too much.
Huh?
Might be asking too much.
Please be safe. Don't get hurt.
If we're safe, we're not going to come home with a tree.
I didn't want to hear that. But anyways, and you got everyone, Frank and everyone did a great job, and Ray did a great job on the reason tree lighting thing, mingle jingle. Looks good. Be interesting to see everyone out there. Hopefully the big switch works good. Anyways, it's been a long couple weeks, so wish everybody happy Thanksgiving and be safe out there. The fog's getting pretty bad. So all the PD be drive safe and firefighters be safe this weekend, please.
Councilmember Gornick.
Yeah, I just was really felt kind of proud today seeing the way you guys honored Norm at church. It was really kind of nice to see the everybody there dressed out and behaving themselves and
behaving themselves.
Yeah, I think he would have got a kick out of that. Yeah. So anyway,
you guys behaved yourself?
Apparently.
At least I didn't see it.
Why'd you turn red?
Because I know exactly what he's talking about.
Was that it?
That's it. That's it.
I attended the city managers roundtable, talking about some of our budget issues with some community members. I also attended the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department versus Lemoore PD volleyball game. And I'm going to leave that at that.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. Out of respect for all.
That was a whooping. I'm sorry.
Say it.
That was a whooping.
It's good entertainment.
Who got whooped?
Very good entertainment.
The police. That was bad.
I tried. Sure.
Hey, a win is a win.
It was. It was.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
We saw the cheating.
I saw no cheating. I just saw a whooping. But if they did that, I'm gonna say this. I love you guys. I heard a similar excuse for the softball game last year.
Moving on. We'll go ahead and talk about the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department and Lemoore Police Department blood drive that I also took part in, which I am scared to death of needles. And I waited till almost the last second to go because I was trying to talk myself out of it, but I did go. And we will not talk about that one either. But it was a good cause. Lots of people turned out. So thank you everybody for donating, and those that didn't, show up next year, please. We also attended the Veterans Day Parade with Councilmember Gornick and Councilmember Orth. That was a lot of fun. That was a very well attended parade. It was looked like the Christmas parade out there. It was awesome. So thank you, community, for showing up, and thank you for everybody that put entries for that parade as well. Several of us attended the city county coordinating meeting. We had I think it's interesting that they call themselves investment owned utilities now. I don't know if that's a new name or what have you, but I did notice that their acronym is IOU. So that is for PG&E, SoCal Edison, and SoCal Gas.
That's ironic.
I know. I couldn't get over that one. I was like, okay, I see what you did there. Also attended Family Eye Care's annual Toys for Tots drive, which was very nicely attended. You can still drop off toys at Family Eye Care Center in their lobby if anybody wants to do any of that. City manager and I hosted the Cub Scouts Pack 402 right before the meeting. You guys probably saw them in here. They also led our flag salute, which was pretty awesome. So thank them for that and coming out. Senator Hurtado's office has the open house for their new office coming up on the 29th next week. Movies with Santa is going to be at the Lemoore Cinemas on December 2nd at 9 a.m. is when they open the doors. I don't recall if you bring a few cans of food, I believe, for your attendance. You can check out, I believe that was Alliance that was putting that on. Check out their social media post for that, and I encourage everyone to come out to the Jingle and Mingle this Sunday. That's going to be, it was a great event last year, and I think it's going to be even greater this year. Want to also wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. do want to put a little request that maybe we have maintenance oil the doors that are coming into the council member chambers. Those are very squeaky. Like they get your attention every time. So, and also want to send my condolences to the Garcia family and the Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department family, for the great loss that our community and your department has suffered. So thank you all for everything that you do every day. And my condolences to you all. So with that, we'll go ahead and move to closed session. Item number 1, Government Code Section 54956.9, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9, one case. Item number 2, Government Code Section 54957, public employee performance evaluation, city manager. With that, we'll go into closed session.
I just want to announce that I will not be in attendance for the first item on the closed session. I'm recusing myself from it.